Welcome to this explainer. What if I told you that the absolute most transcendent, perfect bite of food I've had recently relied on a complete and total mistake? I'm talking about a watery, fresh mozzarella that anyone else would say has absolutely no business being there. Let's peel back the layers on an experiment that literally shattered everything I thought I knew about cooking.
Listen, my friend, this wasn't just some quick afternoon snack. It was a profound, stop-you-in-your-tracks realization. We taste things all the time, right? But how often does a simple piece of cheese on bread make you literally stand frozen in your kitchen, staring into space, just completely overwhelmed by what you just ate?
But to understand why, we have to realize this is not a recipe. This is a strict experiment. Because, let's be real, a test without consistent conditions, that's just a guess wrapped in sourdough. We're here to strip away the culinary magic and scientifically isolate the hard truth behind that perfect bite. To do that, we locked down every single variable. Same thick-cut sourdough, same unsalted butter, exactly 40 grams of cheese, same cast iron pan, same heat. 3 minutes per side and a strict 60-second rest. We needed absolute precision so that only the cheese could dictate the outcome. No room for human error.
3 variables identical. One variable changed. The cheese. With our bread, butter, and pan acting as a totally neutral playing field, we brought in our 3 everyday characters. 3 very different cheeses, bringing 3 distinct personalities into the arena, pushed to their absolute limits under the heat.
Contestant A is the messy friend, 18-month aged cheddar. Going into this, I was so sure this sharp, confident classic would easily take the crown. We expected the safe choice, a true crowd pleaser with a strong presence. But the reality? Uneven melt, with fat literally separated into these small glistening pools and dense, chewy patches. You see, the long aging process heavily breaks down the cheese's protein structure. So when it hit that hot cast iron, it was gloriously chaotic, structurally compromised, slightly greasy, just messy. Yet despite all that mess, it scored a perfect 5 out of 5 for pure flavor. The immediate umami hit of glutamate was just extraordinary. It's the kind of deeply savory, mouth-watering punch that commands your attention and rewards your hunger the exact second you bite into it. You might think aggressive flavor alone wins the day, right? I sure did. But the weirdest part is yet to come. Because we need to see what happens when true technique and structural integrity enter the chat. Enter contestant B, the sophisticated professional, 10-month Gruyère. This is the cheese every culinary textbook absolutely insists you use. It's wearing a suit and tie, ready to perform. The expectation here is a good melt, nutty flavor, technically correct. And the reality? A perfectly glossy, unified layer of flowing cheese from edge to edge. It all comes down to the fat-to-protein ratio. Unlike the cheddar, Gruyère has this tightly knit structure that keeps everything beautifully emulsified. Not a single drop of separated fat anywhere in sight. An even, progressive melt. A unified, glossy surface. Nutty, with just a hint of aging sweetness. An incredible consistency. It delivered this flawless, yielding pull that rewards a slow, deliberate eater. It is absolute textural perfection in every single bite. So, we have the commanding flavor of cheddar and the glossy perfection of Gruyère. But the weirdest part is yet to come. Because honestly, neither of those highly respected contenders prepared me for the emotional shock of our final contestant. Contestant C, our underdog hero. Same day fresh mozzarella, the watery mistake I literally only included to make the other 2 look better. Our expectation was structural problems and a terribly bland flavor. Food scientists will tell you using this much moisture on direct heat is a recipe for a soggy disaster. But the reality? A transcendent, unified experience of steam-softened bread perfectly nestled beneath a caramelized crust. Almost instantly, it bubbled inward and upward, steaming the bread from the inside out. We are talking about up to 60% moisture here. That number is exactly what the experts warned would completely ruin the toast. But instead, it became our absolute secret weapon, physically altering the sourdough's texture in a way the drier cheeses just couldn't replicate. And then there's the spectacular science of the pall. It's called pasta filata, these long, parallel protein chains created by stretching the curds during production. This specific structural magic is what gave us that legendary, unbroken, slow-motion stretch that the other cheeses couldn't even dream of matching. Plus, as that massive burst of moisture evaporated, we got milk sugar caramelization. The natural, unfermented sugars in the cheese concentrated into this delicate, blistered browning under the direct heat.
That subtle sweetness completely elevated the inherent tang of the sourdough and the rich saltiness of the butter.
It truly tasted like more than the sum of its parts. You see, the clean, milky profile wasn't bland at all. It was open. It acted like a brilliant blank canvas, allowing the hot cast iron pan, the melted butter, and the toasted bread to just sing in perfect harmony.
Which brings us to the final verdict. 3 answers to 3 questions. And what this proves is that there really is no single objective winner in the culinary world.
When you break down the scores for flavor, melt quality, texture, and overall experience, you see a fascinating split. Aged cheddar completely dominates in pure, aggressive flavor. Gruyère represents the absolute pinnacle of melt quality and textural consistency. But fresh mozzarella, against all odds, it achieved a perfect 5 out of 5 for the overall unified experience, completely defying its flaws on paper. So cheddar is for when you want maximum intense cheese presence. Gruyère is for the professional seeking flawless technical perfection. And mozzarella is for that complete, surprising, harmonious experience. This explainer didn't produce a champion. It gave us a map for exactly what kind of experience you want to create in your kitchen.
And that leads us to the viral lesson. The best ingredient isn't the best in isolation. Our underdog won because its specific vulnerabilities, the crazy high moisture, the gentle mildness, perfectly complemented the harsh heat of the pan and the tangy bite of the bread. It wasn't the best in a vacuum, it was the best in context.
The question is never, what is the best cheese? The question is always, what is the best cheese for this specific bread, this specific heat, this specific moment? That profound realization is the absolute difference between just making food and truly understanding it. When we stop obsessively looking for the best ingredient and start looking for the right relationship between ingredients, it changes everything.
So, are you ready to experiment in your own kitchen and change your mind completely? Because, my friend, you are only one pan, one slice of bread, and one completely wrong cheese away from the absolute best bite of your life. What unexpected mistake will you purposefully make in your kitchen today?